This is the current state of my hardcore world. Every step I take is a risk of spawning one of the toughest mobs in the entire game. Thus, I have decided to turn this horrific landscape into a paradise? There's only one slight problem. I'm not a good builder, and definitely have never built anything close to this sheer scale and complexity. So can we get around this issue in the next 1500 days? Let's find that out. Now we first must have the terrain to start building. This required me to remove Skulk off of this entire mountaintop and terraform it. And after a couple of hours, it was looking good. That brings us to finally start constructing the base, beginning from an entrance to an area that I want to turn into a lake. After a lot of researching, I built an idea in my head and started to bring it to life. After many hours of building, I finished it and liked it a lot. Temporarily. Clearly, I couldn't start milking builds and creativity out of my brain, so I had to change plans. I turned to a better option: tutorials. I looked through hours of tips and tricks tutorials as well as build tutorials, but two of those really stood out to me. I wanted this to be in my world. This is a pagoda, and I found a very cool fence design as well. I ran into yet another problem though, which was that I didn't have the blocks that were required in these builds, so I had to come up with my own color palette. But before that, I decided to mark the terrain of my base by building a giant wall. That is why I had to collect a ton of deep slate. I used deep slate bricks and deep slate brick slabs for the top. Now I could finally start building the pagoda. I wanted it to be located at the end of a marketplace that I would later build, but still separated apart from it, so this fence did exactly that. Oh shit, it's too small. We are done. Dude, it is so beautiful. That's so... oh my god, man. Wow. As beautiful as it might be, it still doesn't feel like it's mine. Mainly because it's not, but despite changing the color palette and building it myself, I wasn't satisfied. So I had to change the strategy. In the time that I built the pagoda, I had copper laying around that I decided to leave outside for it to oxidize, just so I could completely forget about it. Next to that, wandering traders traded me acacia saplings and drip leaves, as well as mangrove saplings and a single dark oak sapling. It's not that he only had one sapling available, it's rather that I was being cheap and I kind of forgot that you needed 4. But that is fine, because not long after, I luckily got another trait with it being one of the options. In the meantime, I got rid of a farm I never finished and added a new farm of nether wart since I needed it for the red bricks of the ugly gateway. This time I felt more comfortable despite it being completely my own imagination. I looked at many real-life references and learned that the old Japanese as well as Chinese marketplaces had these stone grounds, and I liked the color of acacia as it suits the Japanese vibe. The landscape was turning into something beautiful. I love the funky roofs, and to be fair, they represent a lot of ancient Japanese architecture. The roofs can look as if they would crush the building because of its size. Apart from them, I designed entrances to the buildings. These would all be open plan. I first went with a simple acacia trapdoor design, but then swapped them for mangrove trapdoors. At the back of the left buildings, I made a small garden area where I put a small koi pond in. I ended up designing something a little more creative and complex with depth for the entrances. I mimicked the design of it around the windows as well, but still made them stand apart from each other. I felt like there still was space for one last building. This would be a standalone pillar-shaped one. Now all that was left to do was the interior. I created a simple yet moody floor with dark oak planks and stripped acacia logs, and then put together an even more cozy environment by turning it into a restaurant. I will turn this place into a villager trading center later on. My final touch was adding lighting, and I tried my best to replicate the traditional lanterns. At this point, I honestly felt very good. I had outdone myself. I cleaned up the trees I spread around for wood, and then also the dozen of chests that were laying around outside. I realized that I kept running into inventory issues. My storage unit I built previously was not enough anymore, so I transferred everything into an underground storage unit and moved on to the next stage of my base. Now that I had built the marketplace, I could build a story around it. I originally wasn't planning to, but I had the tendency to turn this into a kingdom. I wasn't all that sure about that idea since I didn't trust my building skills at all because I truly just had figured it out. But I thought to myself that a kingdom can't exist without citizens, so I wanted to build a small neighborhood with just a couple of houses. I also kept giving this uphill part of my base glimpses, and small thoughts of building a castle entered my brain, but we'll see about that later. I was sure that I wanted a river that passed through a cherry blossom forest though, so I carved out its shape and also made a couple of ideas of where paths could lead. I would build the cherry blossom forest with a variety of pink blocks, but mainly pink wool, so I would have a very long and boring grind of string at my spider farm later on in the project. Or so I thought. Anyways, for the first house I wanted it to have a little pond at the backyard. Traditional Japanese houses have a lifted foundation. I put down the main pillars of the house to map out the shape. Now I had to figure out a color palette. For the walls I tried quartz blocks, but realized its borders didn't look good, so I swapped it for smooth quartz. And let me just say that collecting quartz is the most awful thing to do. They are spread all over the place, and after you collect a stack, you can only make 16 blocks out of it. But it does make sense after you realize that quartz is a hard crystalline mineral composed of silica, in which the atoms are linked in a continuous framework of SiO4, which stands for silicon oxygen tetrahedra, with each oxygen being shared between two tetrahedra, giving an overall chemical formula of SiO2 standing for silicon dioxide. Stay in school. I filled the pond with water and tried to use different blocks to have a two-colored house. After trying out some weird shapes with sandstone, I swapped it for stripped acacia. For the back, I interestingly used acacia doors and trapdoors since they are transparent and look aesthetically pleasing. Then I framed the roof with dark oak and filled it with warped wood. I decorated the pond with lily pads, drip leaves, and tropical fish that I traded with a wandering trader and lit it up with lanterns. The second house again started with a foundation. This one would be bigger and have 2 stories, and I went with the same color palette. Now you would say that everything is going great, right? Well, save that for after this third house. This looks absolutely disgusting. What are you looking at, little guy? You've created a disappointment. It was so awful that I left it untouched and didn't even finish it. That made me quit building individual houses. I needed many citizens, so the easiest way to store them is building an apartment complex. I kept the same color palette as the houses, but before that, we received good news. Guys, I can't believe it, but Mojang just announced the upcoming Minecraft update 1.20, and it appears that there will be cherry blossom trees. You can't make this up, man. I'm so happy. This is going to make everything so much easier. Yeah, Mojang literally gave me a "I got you, bro." I quickly, but with difficulty, updated my game to the 1.19.4 snapshot, where I messed with some files to turn on the experimental features. This did cause all of my mods to not function. No shaders, no replay mod. This didn't stop me. Let me introduce you to my cameraman. This is my alt account. I will open my world to LAN and join it on my laptop. Then I will murder my alt account and record its POV with a screen recorder. And don't question my skin choices, okay? It's a video game reference. I like women. Now that I was done with the houses of the citizens, I moved over to the lake area. I wanted the lake to look light blue, so I thought it would be a good idea to cover under light blue concrete. But soon I realized, wait, this will just look like a pool. For some reason, I thought it would be a good idea to still cover the small pond of where the river starts under blue concrete as well. Oh, and I also swapped the red bricks of the gate to stripped jungle logs. That didn't make it look good though. If anything, it looks worse. Bruh, it still looks bad. I did what any sane person would do and sent it to the moon. It's also now that I realize I blew up one of my horses. I was confused of why there was a saddle on the ground. Oh yeah, you might have noticed skeleton horses. Unfortunately, I can't find the footage. I'm very very sorry, but one night there was a thunderstorm and like 3 or 4 skeleton traps appeared. Matter of fact, it wasn't unexpected for me to lose track of the footage because I have nearly 200 video files for this video alone. Just recording the entirety of this video took me over 400 hours. I started this project in January. It's nearly been 5 months. I did record another video in between though, so we got a little delayed. But hey, a way to say, damn man, that's quite impressive, is by subscribing. Come on, please, come on. Come on, man. Come on, please. I waited for a wandering trader to introduce some new saplings to me. I waited for 100 days. I'm not joking. Trader after trader, they didn't give me what I needed. I tested on a copy of my world if it was possible for me to get the sapling, and yes, it was. Instead of the cherry sapling, I got a spruce sapling, which honestly is pretty good, and a moss block, which I then bone mealed to get the azalea bush, which I wanted to put in the cherry blossom forest, so it was also not bad. However, eventually I lost my patience and decided to move on from this long AFK session. As much as I wanted to put down the structure of the forest, I could just continue and see if any traders would randomly show up. Now it was time for the big deal, a castle. I had finally decided to build it, and it wouldn't just be a castle. I was building a real life reference. But before the castle itself, I needed my real estate. I completely moved my storage unit underground, and yes, I know the chests look ridiculous, but I got used to it, alright? I moved all of my villagers to the marketplace, and I put them at the walls of the restaurants. Removing my old base by hand would take me a while. So what I thought was a better idea was gathering materials, going to my nether roof, finding the right biome, building a ghast farm, AFKing for hours, and collecting gunpowder. Yeah, that definitely was worth the time. The funny part is that I recorded this in the class of time management, but in all seriousness, it actually was useful because not only could I easily make TNT now, I could finally craft as many firework rockets as I needed. This castle is going to be ridiculous in size, so they will help out a lot. Before beginning on the castle, I built a wall around the area of my palace. I was going to make a one-on-one scale of the Osaka castle, and I did it with my super high accuracy measurement method in Photoshop. It's a super unique architectural masterpiece. It was built in the 16th century, but the main building actually is a reconstruction that started in 1868 and finished in 1931. It was originally completed in the 16th century as a display of power by the samurai warlord and ruler of Japan, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, after he accomplished the unification of Japan. It took only 3 years to construct, which honestly amazed me because this small apartment in my town has been under construction for over 5 years. But around 100,000 workers sweated blood and tears to accomplish such a marvelous piece of art. And I am doing it all by myself. Toyotomi Hideyoshi kept expanding the castle's territory, making it more and more daunting to attackers. In 1597, Hideyoshi died and Osaka Castle passed on to his son, Hideyori. Then, approximately 20 years later, the castle was attacked by the clan of Tokugawa Ieyasu, and they outnumbered Hideyori's clan by 2 to 1, but the Toyotomi clan still fought them off and remained the holders of the castle's territory. This was thanks to the strength of the castle, but also because of the devious skill of one of the samurai generals, Yukimura Sanada. But unfortunately, they struck again with yet another attack, and this time Toyotomi clan fell. The Tokugawa clan ruled Japan for the next 250 years. The castle was rebuilt again in a slightly different spot, but then it was struck by lightning and burnt down. Yeah, it even had 8 golden Fusetora, standing for golden tiger, and golden Shachi, a mythical creature with the head of a tiger and body of a carp, which they believed would protect the castle from fire. Well, that didn't last forever. But at the end, it was built again and still stands today, being a popular tourist destination. But for me, it will be my home. This is so cool, dude. I actually did it. Oh my god. As smooth as my history class just went, the process of construction didn't go so well. You know, I never really take a break. I'm always on a constant grind of working on videos and, well, recently writing a novel, but working at this pace causes many individuals to burn out quickly, but this was never the case for me. Until now, halfway through building the castle, I felt stuck. I felt very, very worn out. Man, I don't want to say it, but holy shit, I'm tired mentally. I'm pushing myself way too hard to get this video out, man. There's this fun fair currently at my city, and it's the 1st of May today, which is Labor Day, and they will be firing fireworks very soon. My mom told me to go, but I didn't want to because I was recording. I think it will be a good idea to go see them. I missed it. I took a walk by myself around our local lake and heard the sounds of the fun fair from a distance, hearing hundreds of people, friends, sweethearts, and kids screaming as they had fun. Now this might look like a loss, but it truly was not. I had missed the fireworks, but it was instead motivational rather than disappointing. This motivated me to work even harder. I told myself, if I work hard enough, maybe one day I can watch the fireworks in Japan. Maybe I can get the opportunity for an anime adaptation of my novel, and maybe, just maybe, I can take a walk with my own friends around the lake. Those friends are you guys. If you paid close attention, you should have noticed I used black concrete. Well, this is obtainable by either killing a squid or trading with a wandering trader. But actually, there's one more way. There's a flower that you can craft into black dye, and that flower is a wither rose. Oh, there we go, black skelly melly. Don't fall off the edge.
Okay, I swear you're making like the exact opposite argument when I complain about this.
Oh, first drop Yasu. Oh! By the way, if you're wondering why I got an achievement, well, I don't know myself. My achievements reset quite a lot. Maybe it's because I transfer my world from my PC to my laptop because I record on school a lot as well. But then still, it should be saved in my player data. But I don't know. Yes! Yes! I got another one! Yes! Yes! I got a third one! It's actually a very good strat. Okay. The winner is spawning. No. Go to the winner. Okay, that's a lot of roses. He destroyed obsidian? Ow! I killed him. You can destroy obsidian? What the f? Like every human, I too need sleep unfortunately. But I found it such a waste of time to not grind for 8 hours. So I found a solution. We still don't have a cherry blossom sapling, so I built a trader farm and AFK'd overnight. But before the end of our AFK session streak, I have something to tell you. We have reached a milestone. 1,000 days. Of course, my footage of then went corrupt. But to celebrate it, I launched some fireworks. And this time, I didn't miss them. I went back to the AFK farm, and I kid you not, I waited day after day after day. And eventually... Okay, I can't, bro, I can't click on the guy. Oh my god! Wait, you're not the same guy. Oh, Birch? I'll take that as well. What day is it? What day are we on? What? 1,104. When did I start trading? It's been It's been a decade, all right? Oh, I'm so happy. I want to see what this looks like. I have never seen it in a game before. That's so cute. Why does it look like that? It looks a bit weird. I don't know. Why is it shaped like that? What? Oh my god, that looks so cute. That's such an odd shape though. Wait, they have different shapes, right? For sure they have. Whoa! Yes! They do! Oh, look at the particles! What? This is amazing! I started a section of the forest I would later finish just so I could see what it looks like. I also hit my floating portal in a cherry tree. I found a wall design on YouTube that was identical to mine, but I promise you I did not copy it from it. But after seeing it, I noticed it had towers at the entrance and windows at the walls, and then I did copy it because that just looks way cooler. You might also wonder what this is. Well, the single towered castle we find today was a reconstruction, and I found a model with this second structure and I liked it quite a lot. So I decided to build it, and this will be where my guards stay. Both of these builds will eventually oxidize as well, and then their roofs will look amazing. Now it is time for my palace garden. I wanted 2 more builds in here, so I started with a house inspired by the architecture of old samurai houses and traditional Japanese houses. For the interior, I used diamond and netherite armor, but more about that later. I built a small pond next to the house. This was the first time I experimented with texturing, and I honestly did a very good job. Next, I spent 8 hours fishing with my reincarnated alt account because apparently you can get bamboo from fishing. There's a bug where when you leave and rejoin a hardcore LAN world, you just get your life back. Then my friend Anas told me that the bamboo is a drop you can only find in the jungle, so those 8 hours were spent to accomplish nothing. In a depressed state, I moved half of the garden a block lower because I wanted some height differences. Then I built the heart of our base, which is a massive cherry blossom tree. This made me decide to call this town Sakura Village, which stands for Cherry Blossom Village. At the bottom of the tree, I made another pond. For the second and last building, I wanted something more functional, so I made a blacksmith's working station. It looks awesome, and it has a functional, realistic looking furnace that contains 2 blast furnaces and 2 campfires, and next to that a stone cutter, anvil, and crafting table. Before continuing, I wanted to upgrade my armor. 1.20 added what is probably my favorite feature of the game, armor trims. I went into a creative world to see the armor trims I am able to obtain and made the decision to go with snout on everything except my helmet. On my helmet, I wanted the one in an entity. Between the decision of a gold color or an amethyst color, I went with amethyst. But I ran into one issue. Not while obtaining them, but while recording obtaining them. For some reason, my game froze. And also just my whole PC is broken. My PC is not working anymore. Why, Mojang? It's your fault. Oh my god, I forgot my elytra. So I was at like minus 5,000, 6,000, something like that. I don't remember exactly. I explored like a couple of bastions. I finally found one of these good ones. This is another good one. I found this in a fortress. Wait, which? Yeah, these 2 are from fortresses. And these are from bastions. Yeah. Okay, we're doing it. Chest plate, leggings, shoes. Okay. What? That looks so sick. Next, I created the layout of the paths. I used brick slabs and polished andesite slabs for the edges. In the center, I made a pond and connected it to a canal that will lead to another pond. The canal is made completely from cobblestone. Then I filled the path with cobblestone and stone. Following, I created bridges over the water streams. Now I just had to bring the garden to life. It was time for the back. This would be my personal garden. I tried different designs for a torii gate, and after many attempts, I finally got one I liked. I shaped out where the path would go once again. Here I can also easily show you where the forest will be. Basically this entire uphill part. I carved out the path entirely and then filled it in. And now again, I just had to bring it alive. I wanted a beach area where I could chill and relax, so that is exactly what I built. And with that done, I officially finished the castle area of the base. Now all that is left is a couple of changes outside, starting from the forest. The forest floor at the edge of the lake. A couple of new houses. Creating paths around town. building a massive torii gate as an entrance to the lake. Leaving it unfinished because I sucked and continue creating the paths. Continue working on the torii gate. Creating the necessary bridges. And now yet again a real-life reference. I always see images of this place and absolutely love it, so I created it in Minecraft. This is Fushimi Inari Taisha. It's also called the 10,000 Torii Sanctuary, and it's located in Kyoto. I combined it with another place also in Kyoto. This is Daigoji Temple, and I like it mainly because of its surroundings. I went behind the pagoda for this one last build. This will be where a monk is going to stay. Finally, we are closing up the construction phase of our base, and with an AFK session at my spider farm, I collected a ton of string for wool. It was time for the lake that will no longer look like a pool. I created a gradient that goes from dark to light, and I knew that this was what would make it look realistic. I needed cyan wool. One of the requirements for cyan dye is green, so I built a cacti farm and I did one last AFK session. And there it was. Exactly 1,300 days before, my world was this abomination. The warden had pooped everywhere and danger awaited me in every single corner. I couldn't build. I will say honestly, I had tried my best previously with what in the world this piece of pie was supposed to look like. I had nearly died a couple of times but had to leave it out of the video because the footage had to be compressed an insane amount. But after mining some terrain, crafting some blocks, placing them down, filling a hole, and growing some trees, we finally reached the long-awaited end of this Minecraft journey. Okay, this is the first time of me enabling shaders on this world. I finally got it to work. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I haven't seen this world with shaders in like forever. Oh. Yo. We finally reached the long-awaited end of this Minecraft journey. Or did we?